Okay, so like I said earlier in the show, I actually talked about the fact that it is International Women's Day on the 8th of March, 2022. So because of that, we are dedicating today's episode to celebrating women across the world. So I think the theme for this year's International Women's Day is break the bias. So that's exactly what we are going to do on the show today. But then I'm actually going to get interactive with... No, let me do my drum rolls first. I'm going to get interactive with somebody I'm coming to introduce. So drum rolls. I can't read plenty today because it's only me. Iya the Medic. Hello. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is the second time you're actually here. Yeah. I didn't get to see you the first time, which was so sad, but okay. You are here. And you are here because you're actually royalty here.
Oh.
That's why we need to see you here. You're very beautiful. Christ.
Oh, thank you so much.
Wow.
You're very beautiful yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so talking about women in general, I hope you have been good yourself.
Yes, I have been very good.
Did you miss us?
Oh, I did actually.
Great.
I
Because if you
enjoyed the
didn't-
first episode. Yeah, I did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I mean, the other guys were kind of weird, but are you sure you did? You've been for
I
an
did,
amazing
I did,
time
I
today,
did.
trust me.
All right.
Okay, so let's get interactive right about now. So it's International Women's Day. Do you have any idea like what actually goes into Women's Day in general?
Okay, so I think Women's Day is meant to celebrate women. I mean, if you look at how far women have come from history, you realize that women were not really appreciated in the past, and we've come to an era where women are appreciated now. I mean, it's not the best or what we expect, but then it's better than it was before. So the International Women's Day is basically to appreciate women who are doing very well in their various fields, and also to encourage and motivate other women to do better in whatever field they find themselves.
Okay, so talking about things that inspire women to excel in the fields that they are, do you have any role models like women that you look up to?
Yeah.
Can you name them?
There are actually 3 people that I look up to, women.
Okay.
First is her name is Dr. Arikana Chiombo-Kwao.
Okay.
So she happens to be the former ambassador of the African Union to the US.
Okay.
This woman is a medical doctor. She's a diplomat. She's a public speaker, and she's very, 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 very smart. And every time I listen to her, she tries to break down the history of how Africa, how we started as Africans and how far we've come. And she points out all the loopholes that we Africans have allowed because of colonialism and all that.
Okay.
And she tries to show we Africans, or we the young people, how we can actually make Africa better for the next generation.
Okay.
And so she really inspires me a lot. And then apart from her, I also look up to Michelle Obama. I'm pretty sure everybody knows Michelle Obama.
Yes, I know that.
Michelle Obama, former First Lady of the US, she herself, I've come to realize that she's done very well for herself. And in the time where she was First Lady, she used the power that she had to influence so many lives, especially young girls.
Yes.
And that inspires me a lot. And
The third person?
The third person is Oprah.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Black woman power.
Yes.
I see. Oprah happens to be like one of the main deals when it comes to Africa. The first person you mentioned is an African.
She's an African.
Oh, the name again?
Dr. Arikana Chiombo-Kwao. However, I think she lived most of her life in the US,
But she's a Ghanaian.
The truth of the matter is, I don't know if she's Ghanaian or Nigerian, because her name sort of has...
Yes, it has
both
a bit of
Nigerian
Ghanaian in
and-
there.
So
Yes.
I want to believe she's probably maybe partly from Nigeria, partly from Ghana.
Okay, so now we know about your role model. So we are going to look at you. We are going to look at you in perspective right now.
Okay.
So you are in the medical school, right?
Yes.
That's a big one. I actually respect people who are in the medical school a lot because it's not easy. Tell us about the whole journey. Why did you decide to be there? Like, why medical school out of the lot that is all over the place?
Okay. So, I mean, growing up, I always wanted to be a doctor. I mean, when I was a child, I grew up seeing my mom very ill, for quite some time.
So sure.
And so that was how the inspiration started. I actually wanted to get to a point where I could actually help her, because I mean, it's not nice to see your mom suffering. So that was the inspiration from the beginning. But then, as I grew up, went to secondary school, I began to understand and appreciate that there are so many people out there who need help. And when I say help, we are talking about whether it's inspiration to even do something, whether it's people who need help with regards to health, just like I saw my mom need and all that. And so the understanding that there are people out there who could actually use my services one day was a very big thing for me. And so luckily for me, I God blessed me with some brains. I was able to manage to get into medical school.
I mean, you're one of the few people that decide to be doctors at a very tender age and see it because trust me, you know, I also wanted to be a doctor, but
I heard so many people say
the fight was not for the weak. I had to leave it for the big people in the game. It's not easy like that. So how is mommy now? Are you able to
now
work on that?
Actually doing very well.
Wow, dreams getting achieved, right? I mean, you're getting other side things too, which is actually very nice. So what are some of the highlights you have in school, like the big things you would like to hold in high esteem like that?
So in medical school, the big things I would probably want to talk about, the first one would be, so there was a conference organized in medical school. It was a World Health Organization. We're simulating the World Health Organization. So it was like a model UN conference.
Okay.
And by the grace of God, I happened to be the best delegate. So at the time, I was representing Russia, and we were trying to simulate what they do at the WHO, and I was the best delegate. And because of that, I got an opportunity to travel to the US for the Harvard National Model United Nations Conference.
Oh no, hold on! You can't rush me like that. Nah, hold on. It looks like no, am I in the right interview? Because oh wow, I'm so proud to be here. No, I'm actually so proud of you. That is big. Harvard, Russia. Oh, B, go on. Blow me more. Now let me just watch you because this is what we can do now.
Yes, and then again, one other thing that I did that I'm proud of is we had a debate. It was a psychiatric debate where we're trying to make people understand the difference between physical illness and the mental illness, and we want society to understand which one costs society more. So I am one other colleague of mine, she's called Alberta. We represented our school. I mean, we were expecting to win, but we came second, which we're not so excited about, but it was still a big thing for us because that was where the passion for mental health started for me. Yes, it was that particular debate that opened my eyes to what mental health is all about and the statistics that are out there and how people fail to appreciate what happens with mental health. And so that was when I realized that, no, I think there is a lot of work that needs to be done when it comes to mental health. And so that particular debate was actually the turning point for me, because going to medical school, initially I thought I wanted to be an ophthalmologist. But that debate made me realize that, no, I actually have more passion for mental health than I have for ophthalmology. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I'm lost actually, but we'll still sail through regardless. What is your school again? What school are you in?
University of Ghana Medical School.
University of Ghana and that is how many years?
6.
How many have you gone?
I'm in my final year now.
Oh, I'm actually going to get a personal doctor soon. So you actually dwell more on the mental health.
Yes.
When it comes to mental issues in Ghana, how do you think we regard mental issue in Ghana?
Honestly. Ghanaians don't appreciate mental health. That is the truth of the matter. And it's not just Ghana. I think it's a worldwide something, but the people in the Western world are actually improving compared to those of us in Africa. Because for those of us in Africa, everything mental health is associated with spirits or evil spirits.
You bet.
Yes. So the level of ignorance when it comes to mental health in Ghana is terrible. And the statistics show us that there are actually so many people in Ghana living with mental health illness. Recently, the health minister himself came out to tell us that currently we have about 3.1 million people in Ghana living with mental health conditions. Now, these are the people that have been picked up. There are so many other people out there who do not even know that they have a mental illness.
Okay.
So they've not even been diagnosed. So if we are supposed to add those other people who haven't been diagnosed, I mean, I'm sure we're probably shooting around 10 million people in Ghana with mental illness, because so many people don't even know what mental health is all about. Some people, they do know, but because of all the stigma and discrimination around mental illness, they're hiding in their own corner. And I think it all boils down to the ignorance about mental health issues. Yeah. So when it comes to Ghana, I wouldn't say, I think we are improving, but I don't think we are there yet. We have a lot of work to do.
Oh my, this is amazing, this is great, this is something I always want to listen to. Listening to the main man, G''LA.
So I am actually still here with Iya the medic. She's effortlessly blowing me off my seat. Like, I feel like I've really not done anything in this life, but okay, we'll still manage to sail through the whole interview while it lasts. Okay, so since you were talking about the fact that Ghanaians don't really know much about mental health, don't speed up on me. In like a few 2 minutes, just tell us something really like about mental health. Then let's just get that in our heads.
Okay. So when we talk about mental health is basically talking about all the disorders that we can think about with regards to the human brain. So most of the mental health issues are problems with the brain. Okay. And so when we talk about mental health, we have some disorders that are very common, like anxiety disorders, we have depression, we have the eating disorders, we have the paraphilias or the sexual disorders. So there are a variety of disorders that are out there, and then people need to understand some of the symptoms that come with these disorders to be able to know that they need help, and they should be able to know where they can find help. And if they have a friend or a relative or a loved one who needs help, they should be able to know that this person needs help and find them the help. Because if you don't, that is when you now find out that people will end up with full-blown mental illness, or worst case scenario, they will end up on the streets. And so we don't want people to get to that stage where they end up on the streets. And so if you think that you need help, if you are going through any stress emotionally or psychologically, and you think you need help, you can walk into any the big hospitals like Kolebu, where they have a psychiatry department. You can walk to Accra Psychiatric Hospital. You can go to Pantine Hospital. They have a psychiatry department there as well. And then to go and see a professional and get help. I always say that people need to get help when they need it. And we all need to start reading about mental health and appreciating what it is, so that we can put away the stigma, the discrimination, and all the myths and misconceptions that we have about mental illness. We have to put them aside and actually face the reality that mental illness is an illness just like physical illness. So if somebody can have diabetes and it's okay, somebody can have depression and it should be okay as well. Yeah,
it's beautiful to say you can just walk into the hospital and visit the psychiatry department. But okay, so if this person happens to be a friend and you've noticed this about the person, how do you talk about the person visiting a psychiatry for the first time without hurting the person's feelings or emotions, or like just a harmless, caring person?
Okay, so I mean, people take information differently. So you need to understand the person you are dealing with. And before you go out there telling the person, I mean, you don't go telling the person that you are going mad, so you need to go and see a psychiatrist. You need to let the person understand that you're coming from a point of love or a point of care. Because if you've noticed that your friend is going through something, you should find the right time where they are in a very calm state, and then when you sit them down and you're talking to them, you should let them understand that this is what you've noticed, and you think that this is not how they used to be, and you think that they should get some help. And if you say it in a very nice and loving manner, anybody who knows, the truth of the matter is, people know that something is wrong. Sometimes they just need somebody to point it out to them that I actually do need some help.
Okay.
So if you sit them down and you say it to them in a nice, loving manner, and you make them understand that these are the changes that you've noticed, and you think that it's not healthy for them, and you yourself should have found out about where you can get them help. Because if you can't tell me that I need help and you don't know where you are, whoever you're recommending to me, then there's no point. So if you're a good friend or relative, you should do some research yourself, know where you're going to recommend to them. So you sit them down, you explain everything to them, and you let them understand that there is help available, and you can probably go along with them to show how much you care about them. Because people are shy entering psychiatric hospital because nobody wants to be seen as, in quotes, mad. Yes. So if you volunteer to go with them, I think that would also go along with encourage them to actually go get help.
Interesting. That was actually a good one. So tip for later. I might just keep that in my bag for anybody that would need it some other time. So we know you are actually having a project talking about mental health, which is your thing. Do you have any other projects coming up?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So this year, I decided to expand what I do and start a foundation proper.
Okay.
So the inspiration came from my 31st night church service. We had an awards night for young African leaders who are coming up, and I realized that there are young people like myself, some people are even younger than me, who are doing very phenomenal things in their countries. And I was like, Esther, I think you are not doing much. Looking at what these young people out there are doing, I realized that there is so much to be done. And then again, about Dr. Arikana, she gave a speech at the church service that evening, and I realized that Africa actually has hope. I mean, it's not as hopeless as we think it is.
Okay.
And so I decided that I would start a foundation, and this foundation is purposely to help groom young people and equip them with knowledge and skills in the fields of leadership, entrepreneurship, career guidance, and then health, with more focus on mental health, because I like mental health and I know that a lot of people tend to neglect mental health. And the reason is that you would notice that we complain about the leaders we have in Africa all the time.
A lot. We always do that.
Exactly. But we should understand that people become what they are. Right from the environments that they grew up in, the experiences that they had and all that.
Sure.
And so I thought about it and I realized that if we could get young people who are now growing up and we could actually teach them the right things to do when they grow up, if we could actually make them understand that if you want to be a good leader, you have to be a selfless person, you have to be somebody who has the mental fortitude to do what you want to do, then it starts from there. If we keep impacting these ideas into their minds, they grow up and they understand what leadership is actually supposed to be about, so that they don't end up like all the leaders that we are complaining about. Okay, so I realized that there's no point complaining all the time if we, the people ourselves in Africa, are not doing anything about it. And so this is the little thing I think I want to do. So the plan is start with senior high and junior high schools. So we've actually gone to one junior high school that I wanted to start with, but we decided to do government schools. And the reason is we believe that the people in government schools are in some way a little less privileged compared to people in private schools, and they wouldn't have some of the opportunities that people in private schools would have. So we wanted to do government schools. So we went to one of the schools I wanted to start with. We spoke to the headmistress and she was very excited, but she said we have to get permission from the district directorate. We went there, they said we have to get permission from the national headquarters, and they are also saying we have to register first.
I know,
before.
right?
So we are going through the registration process. Hopefully we are hoping that before this month ends, we'll be able to finish the registration process, and then we can start. So we are establishing clubs in these schools.
Oh, okay.
And every 2 weeks we'll teach them something, either leadership, either entrepreneurship, either career guidance, or either health.
That's a big one.
Yes, so pick one topic every 2 weeks and then teach these young people, so that we hope that they will become good leaders, and then the next generation of leaders we have in Africa will be better than what we are seeing now.
Definitely. That is a very good initiative. What's the name of your foundation?
EAS Foundation for African Leaders. Right.
I'm so proud of you. Like, all jokes aside, but you know what? If you happen to need anything for your foundation, I actually want to be a member.
That's nice.
Knowing the Lali, he would want to. Fatito would like. I mean, the whole team is in, whether they like it or not. I'm vouching for them. They are all part of the EAS Foundation.
That's exciting.
So please, yes, include us in anything you want us to do. If you want us to help you with any broadcasting of events, anything you want to do regarding the foundation,
thank you so much.
we are actually in for you. We've told you about the fact that you're royalty here. Don't take it for granted. That is it. Okay. Yeah. So amidst all these things that you want to do, you being a woman, actually limits you. We might not want to accept the truth as it is, but you being a woman, genuinely, it affects certain things. They would actually be like, oh yeah, a woman, you don't need to actually go this large scale like that. Men are the ones supposed to be leading these kind of things. So what are some of the challenges you face as a woman when doing these things that you want to put out?
Okay, I mean, like you said, we all grew up in societies where women are seen as supposed to always be submissive to men and all that. And unfortunately, I think that has gone a long way to affect how even we women see ourselves. We tend to believe that we are not capable of a lot of things. And so as a woman, some of the challenges that I have seen personally is that sometimes when you try to do some things, I mean, people try to tell you that if you're a woman and you become too powerful, you are going to scare men. And I mean, everybody grows up with the idea that, oh, eventually one day I want to have a family. And now you are in a society where everybody's telling you that if you're a woman and you are doing too much, nobody's going to like you because men are scared of powerful women. And so sometimes you sit back and you feel like, maybe I should slow down a little. But then I read sometimes and I realize that, no, there are actually men out there who are actually interested in women who are doing very well for themselves. And so there is no need for me to try to downplay myself, because I think that some men are any man who is going to be intimidated by a woman, that is their loss. Because I don't see any reason why you as a man, if a woman is doing very well for herself, it should actually motivate you to do better and not intimidate you instead. Yes. And then again, in our societies, when you try to get support from people or you try to reach out to people for help, in as much as we don't want to accept that that's the truth, we women are actually very vulnerable, because some men will try to take advantage of the fact that you need help. Some of them may make sexual advances at you and all that and try to make you feel that unless you give me something, I'm not going to give you something in return and all that. And it's sometimes makes you feel that, well, if I was a man, you probably wouldn't be expecting any sexual favors from me to help me with whatever I'm doing. Yes. And so I think those are some of the few challenges that I've had as a woman.
Oh, you've had sexual advances thrown at you.
Oh, too many.
I mean, yes, you're very
Too
beautiful,
many.
but you're not supposed to be doing that. You're actually very nice.
This is the E Factor.
But hey, like, men should actually try to, I don't know, there are a few women that are trying to come out to be known for the good things that they do. These sexual advances need to stop at a point.
Yeah.
It's like that is all you are made up for. I don't know
Yes.
why they demand other things from the men, but then when a woman goes, the only option is sex, and it is nothing but sex. They won't even
it's bad.
offer other things. Like, you don't even need
it's
to
bad.
find money or anything.
Oh, no,
it's
no,
just
no.
sex, and
Yeah.
and please, let's try and put a stop to all this. We are
really
trying
need to
to
put a
grow a
stop.
new world
Yeah.
where everybody will feel safe in whichever space they are in. So then again, breaking the bias.
Yeah.
You people
Yeah.
should just
Yeah,
know
that's
that you're
true.
supposed to do all these things. And so the last thing before we actually log off, I don't want to go, but I think we need to. So, per whatever challenges that we face when we go out there, what are some of the things that you think needs to be done, or we need to inculcate in the people coming up? Then they know that they're actually in a safe space where nobody is going to limit their dreams and everything.
Okay. So I think that education is very important. I mean, we can't put our education aside. We need to educate people, especially the young people who are now coming up, to understand that men and women should be treated equally. And I think people inherit some of these ideas, so it is very hard for you to make them unlearn the ideas that they've learned already. But if you keep educating them and informing them that this is wrong, this is the right thing to do, you need to appreciate women for who they are. I think if we keep doing it over and over and over, we will actually get to a stage where people will now begin to appreciate that this is supposed to be the normal. Because I mean, those who actually believe that women are supposed to be down there, they learned it over and over. It was passed down over and over, and then they now accepted it. So if we keep educating the young people, making the men especially understand that these women are not supposed to be some objects for you to trample all over.
Manipulate.
And yes, and we get to a point where they begin to appreciate these things, I'm sure would actually make a change. And then we, the women ourselves, I believe that we need to actually empower ourselves to do more.
Exactly.
I always try to tell young girls whenever I come in contact with them that whatever that you are doing, make sure that you are very good at what you do, so that nobody would discredit you for what you do. I mean, if you are very good at what you do, no man is going to look down on you, because if he comes in contact with you and he sees that you are doing very well for yourself, you actually don't depend on anybody to survive, okay, they will begin to respect you more. And then we'll get to a stage where men will realize, okay, these women are actually also doing very well. Again, there are so many women out there who have done a lot for themselves. You should actually try to learn from some of these women, some of the things that they did, some of the measures that they put in place in their lives to make sure that they are where they are now. That is actually a lot of inspiration that we young women now have to pick up, and then we would be able to do well for ourselves, and men will begin to actually appreciate we the women. And then finally, I think that we should actually involve the men themselves in what we are doing, because if they are involved in, let's say, the education, if we are going to educate young people, we should have men on the team, so that other young men would see that, okay, I have a colleague man telling me that this is supposed to be the normal.
Okay.
Actually sings better than they hearing it from a woman. Okay. So it's good to actually have the men themselves involved in creating the awareness that we are trying to create, and also trying to empower the young girls that we are trying to empower. I think if we do all these things, we should actually go a very long way in making some change.
That would definitely go a long way in making changes in the society. And I mean, we should try to limit how we talk about feminism. Immediately a woman is so uptight about her opinions, she knows what she's going for, she's actually very persistent on things. You're like, you're a feminist, you're just all over the place, you just want to show that, oh, okay.
I mean, people are against
That's
feminism
not
when
it.
they don't even know what it is.
Exactly.
They don't
You
even
see,
know what it is,
so you just don't have to be saying that, oh, feminist. That is not even it. And like you said, women should actually support their own. It's not all the time that when you see women in high places, you be like, oh, she slept her way through to the top, or she did this, and you don't even commend them for the genuine things that they actually do, which is bad on our side. Like, both men and women, we are not supposed to attribute everything to sex. Otherwise, then it means we trying to eradicate the fact that sexual advances are being made at us is going to be void. It won't really work. So let's try to put a stop to that as well. It's been an amazing interview. Like, I've had I've had fun. I've been educated. I have been entertained. I have been wowed. I have been left staring at you. I'm like, you get to really do more. So I'm actually glad you were here. Like I said about your foundation, we would be happy to be a part of it. Anything that you would like to do regarding letting people know about it, we are in for the whole deal. I have been interacting with Iya the medic, and like we have been talking about, it's all about International Women's Day. I hope that you have actually taken a lot from what we've been telling you today. Make good use of these things, please. We talked about mental projects in there a bit. Make sure whatever advices she gave, you are going to make use of them. I'm logging out. Am I supposed to log out? I don't want to, but okay, I think I have to. So remember to break the bias everywhere you are, both men and women. So my name is Huguette and I'm logging out. Bye.
This is the E Factor.